Time to have some fun. Time for week 25 of What Happened on My Universe mode. And as always, we started with Raw, which took place in Albuquerque, New Mexico, opening with a match between Sami Zayn. He's on Raw still, and he's taking on the former WWE champion, Daniel Bryan. And what a way to open Raw. Daniel Bryan opened the match with a few suplexes before Sami Zayn took control and hit a couple of sit-out maneuvers after banging his arm a bit. Daniel Bryan again took control with more suplexes and a massive drop kick off the top rope before Sami Zayn took control again and did more sit-outs for some reason. In the match he actually did 4 sit-out maneuvers, which is a bit weird. Anyway, Daniel Bryan gained control again with a neck breaker, the diving headbutt, shouldn't be doing that anymore, a lovely dragon suplex, and finally, a solid knee plus to the head, and despite a spirited effort from Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan was victorious. Next up, Cameron. Yeah, but she was cannon fodder for the debut of Alundra Blaze. Alundra Blaze punched and kicked her way to victory in this match and flipped her off the corner post as well, finishing Cameron off with a German suplex for good measure. What a debut. More women's action followed as we had a triple threat between Divas champion Paige, Trish Stratus and Natalya. And as soon as the bell rang, Trish Stratus was on Paige like a shot, drop kicking her down before hitting us flying head scissors. Natty wasn't going to stand for any of this though and got in on the action herself. Paige got a couple of cheap shots in on Trish before Trish was able to get control and throw to the outside. On the outside it was double team action as a double DDT from Natty and Trish. Then a brawl on the outside from Paige and Natty, while Trish waited inside. On the inside she was waiting with weapons, and once disposing of Natty she kicked Paige in the face to take the victory over the Divas champ. New WWE champion Bray Wyatt's first test as champion was now as he took on Mr. Money in the Bank Seth Rollins. Rollins had the initial control, throwing Bray to the outside and choking him before ramming his head into the mat, and after that though, Bray decided to headbutt him in the back of the head, which kind of worked. Wyatt had a bit more fun outside before taking it to the ring and hitting a suplex, but then Seth managed to get control back. After a quick suplex and a big chop, Seth Rollins went for a belly-to-belly but was reversed, and Bray followed that with Sister Abigail, which he then won the match with. Seth though on this showing was given the #1 contenders spot, which is lucky because he's Money in the Bank winner anyway. Raw's main event pitted US champion Brock Lesnar against Randy Orton in a match which began in usual Brock Lesnar fashion, lots of beatings and suplexes. During the opening period of this match, Brock Lesnar basically destroyed Randy Orton with numerous slams, suplexes and even a massive powerbomb. But then something snapped. Randy Orton forearmed Brock Lesnar to the face, clotheslined him, snake-eyed him, and then clotheslined him again, this time to the outside. Orton continued this snapped beating on the outside with a few smacks to the face, a side suplex, and then a massive RKO through the announce table. He waited for Brock to get back in the ring and then RKO'd him again, and that was that. A win for Randy Orton over the US champion. And so we move on to Portland, Oregon for some main event, and we open this one with Batista taking on Cactus Jack in a rematch from a couple of weeks back, but Batista wasn't going to let Cactus Jack have a nice fair match and attacked him on the way in. After getting a few more shots in, Batista actually let the ref ring the bell to start the match, and then he started actually having some more fun. A spear, muscle buster, and a massive spine buster before locking in the beast bite of all things. Cactus Jack was forced to submit, and Batista was victorious again. Next up, tag team action, because we got loads of them. The Militia, they were taking on Rikishi and Haku, 2 people you don't want to fuck with. After giving Colonel Mustafa a kick to the face and a Samoan drop, Rikishi ate a back suplex. This gave the militiaman a chance to tag into General Adnan, who had a little bit of his way against Rikishi before walking in to a Rikishi driver. Oops. Rikishi tagged into Haku and they double teamed Adnan before Haku fucked him up. Because you don't fuck with Haku. A little bit more double team action followed before Rikishi finished it off with a bonsai drop. and Rikishi and Haku were victorious. The evil dirty heel King Dusty Rhodes was back again for one more match, and he took on Jake the Snake Roberts. And for the second time in 2 weeks, he jumped his opponent before the bell was rung. He then tried to take out the referee and bring a chair into it, but Jake Roberts was ready and hit a few moves after that. Unfortunately for Jake Roberts though, he went for one move too many, and Dusty reversed and clotheslined him to the outside, where Dusty would throw Jake Roberts around, hit him in the face a few times, before getting him back in the ring and elbowing him atomic style, once and then again. King Dusty then celebrated in the ring with a dance. Next up we have Andre the Giant, and he was taking on Macho Man Randy Savage again, but Macho Man decided to run down and go straight to it, attacking him and punching him in the face a few times. He then defied the laws of physics with a pile driver, though when he went for another slammy timer move, Andre reversed and gouged his eyes. He then kneed him in the gut a few times before kneeing him in the head. After hitting the worst big boot ever, Andre charged at Randy Savage, only to be caught with a drop toe hold. Macho Man then dropped 2 big elbows to get a much needed win over Andre. Once again, European Champion Booker T was scheduled to take on Stone Cold Steve Austin, and because things are starting to get tense between the two after a tie-up, Booker T held him on the ropes and punched him in the face. This pissed off Stone Cold, who then walked off. Deciding he didn't need the match, Booker T was declared victorious by count out, and then celebrated like he'd done something. Nah, you can't blame him, a win's a win. Hey, moving on, the future is headed to Washington DC for NXT, and we were starting that off with Brian Pillman. He was supposed to take on Finn Balor after last week's attack, but last week's attack became this week's attack as Brian Pillman headed down the aisleway as Finn was coming down and smacked him with a chair several times, finishing it off with the customary cutscene clothesline. Oh yeah. Our next match featured Baron Corbin, who was taking on the NXT Nation member, D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown started with the advantage with a clothesline and a Hurricane Rana before Baron Corbin threw him away, powerbombed him, and then hit a nice big Samoan drop. Continuing the fun, Baron Corbin then hit a Falcon Arrow, the worst one ever because there was no arrow part, just the Falcon, and then the end of days, and he won. D'Lo Brown's a jobber, yeah. Once again, former tag team partners collided, R-Truth and Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods went for a punch but was reversed for a kick, but was quick enough to then hit a flying head scissors. Claiming the odds were not really in his favour, Xavier Woods tried to take the Stone Cold route out and walked off. R-Truth followed him, but however, it was a trap, and R-Truth got bulldogged and thrown into the steps by Xavier Woods. Back in the ring, and R-Truth got super kicked by Xavier Woods. He then hit a lovely Montefisto and a splash from the top rope, but then R-Truth got up. He thought he could still do it, a full forward suplex, and then he threw him into the corner. A drop kick to the face, but it wasn't enough, and R-Truth got a knee to the head for his troubles. He then got clotheslined and pinned for the 1-2-3. It's bloody Terminator time. Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Terminator, whatever you want to call him, well, he was taking on Mikey Whipwreck, which is a bit of a damp squib. Mikey kept trying to hit him and kept getting reversed. It happened a few times, and he just kept landing on the floor. As you may imagine, Mikey Whipwreck got absolutely destroyed by the Terminator. A big knee to the face, a big gorilla press into a European uppercut, and then he grabbed his face and made him quit. It's not something you like to see happen. Actually, what am I saying? Fuck it, it was great fun. Job done. The NXT main event was a rematch from NXT Arrival, as Kevin Owens defended his hardcore title against Hideo Itami. The match began with both men trading moves with a kick to the face of the German suplex respectively. Hideo Itami did a tornado DDT standing before heading to the outside and smacking Owens with a chair. Owens then grabbed the chair himself and went to work. KO smashed Hideo with a DDT on the concrete floor, or on the mats. Hideo though got up and threw him into the corner before smashing him with a Michinoku driver. When he got a table out though, Kevin Owens got the advantage back because he wasn't looking at him. Owens took it to the ring and started choking out Itami before beating him down, but it wasn't enough to keep Itami down, and Itami clotheslined him and started striking him a lot with various different things, including that nice back fist. With Owens down, Itami went and got the table. He hit him with it, then set it up in the corner, but when he went for a move, KO reversed. Then KO tried to kick him, and Itami reversed as well, before dragon screwing him into the table, smacking him with a go to sleep, and finally beating him for the hardcore title. It was totes emotion. As always, we end the week with SmackDown, and it was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This one started with a great match, Cesaro taking on Christian. It promised a lot. Christian took the early fun with a punch to the face and then hit Cesaro with a backbreaker. Cesaro then grabbed his head and threw him, and then grabbed his hand and slammed him, before Christian did a full forward slam with a sit-out. It was a better Falcon Arrow than Baron Corbin's earlier. After a dropkick, Cesaro was back with a suplex and a European uppercut, a very European uppercut. Cesaro went for a different move but was thrown to the outside, stunned to the outside, and then unprettied on the outside. Once Christian got him back in the ring, all he had to do was hit an inside cradle and he was victorious. Next up, Los Matadores made their debuts. Unfortunately, it was against Roman Reigns and John Cena. Team Fuckboy! John Cena opened the scoring with a belly-to-belly before tagging straight into Roman Reigns, who beat him up. Diego was not having the best time, as he didn't get to tag into Fernando. Instead, he just got beaten up by Team Fuckboy, finished off with a AA from John Cena. SmackDown's middle match was between The Miz and Mark Henry, who hoped to take The Miz into the Hall of Pain. And he did well to start with, connecting with a massive slam and then a big boot. After punching him in the head and hitting him with a giant jackknife powerbomb, The Miz tried to escape to the outside. That didn't work though when he got thrown into the steps. Back in the ring, he finally took control with a neckbreaker and a Russian leg sweep, followed by a huge knee to the head, which may have knocked him out. If that didn't, this did, when he threw his head into the mat and won the match, surprisingly. Following the match, The Big Show did some magic and appeared in the ring while The Miz appeared on the ramp. Next down that ramp was Edge, and he was taking on Stardust once again, who danced on that ramp before getting to the ring and suplexing Edge. But it was an open match to begin with Edge letting his fist do the talking. Stardust got his own back though, a hip toss and a drop kick before Edge was back in control with a electric chair drop. After the Impaler DDT, Stardust gained a little bit of advantage again. However, that advantage meant nothing when Edge hit R-Truth's little Jimmy before smacking him with a spear and beating the man that beat him at Night of Champions. Afterwards, Stardust seemed a little frustrated, so he went at him. Edge was ready though, and beat him up before throwing him to the outside. And Stardust was just a bit annoyed. SmackDown's main event featured the World Heavyweight Champion Big Show, who had finally got rid of Kofi Kingston. He was taking on the show-off Dolph Ziggler, but at the start of the match it was the Big Show that was showing off with that nifty reversal. Ziggler was not going to just lay down for the Big Show, however, and after a couple of hits, he was back in the game with a nice combo and then some knees to the gut. Big Show, though, he was back in control after that with a huge Gorilla Press slam. Big Show followed the Gorilla Press with an alley-oop, but when he went for a kick, Dolph Ziggler caught it and reversed with a kick of his own. He then hit a couple more strikes, but Big Show was in a confident mood tonight. A big clothesline, a big spear, and then his big ass into Dolph Ziggler's midsection. The inevitable knockout punch followed, and Big Show was your winner once again. And so a few questions from the week. Where the hell were my Raw cutscenes? Why is Batista so mean? Will Macho Man be able to follow up this big win over Andre? Will R-Truth get revenge on Xavier Woods for his sneaky tricks? And who can beat Big Show when he's a magician? Find out all this and more on What Happened on My Universe Mode. Like and subscribe.